ooh la, ooh la. Me. Shut it, phone.
Do you have a monkey in your pants?
Alright then, folks, how's it going? Quick question for you, if you like. If you don't like, don't like. Especially, are you still a completionist? Now, that might sound a bit misleading in this modern gaming era, if you like, because especially with the likes of PS3, Xbox 360, and whatever, PS4, Xbox One, when somebody says a completionist, you might think complete the game, get every single trophy, every single what's it called on Xbox? I can't remember. I've not had one for so long. Gamer point score achievement. There you go. I knew I'd get it. But so I don't mean that by it. But are you still a completionist in the sense that you still sit down and complete games? Obviously, us as collectors, us as gamers, we've got a lot more cash than what we did when we were a child, and some of these games are quite cheap. So you can pick up a lot more games nowadays than what you maybe did have when you were a child. It might not be the case for everybody. So, for example, nowadays you got so many games. Realistically, are you ever going to sit and complete a game through from start to finish? There might be one or two, but the majority of them, are you? Well, you could argue the point saying you can't because you've not got that much time in your life because you've got so many games, or do you know what I mean? Even more so than that, maybe. Or are you the kind of person you might get a few games, you pick it up, play it for 10 minutes, boom, see if you like it or not, back on the shelf, pick another one, 10 minutes gameplay, stick it back on the shelf and never look at it again. Me as a kid, I didn't get very many video games up to, well, certainly up to a certain point. I think I've said in one of my videos before, I got a Game Boy and I got Tetris, and I had Tetris for a whole year, nothing else but Tetris. And Tetris wasn't even a game that you could complete, which was probably a good game to have for a year without anything else, actually. But lots of other games that you maybe get a game for Christmas, a couple of games for Christmas, a game for your birthday, whatever. Money for Christmas, so you buy a couple of games then. But those games tend to, for me anyway, when I was younger, it would last me quite a long time. So you'd put the effort into them, and you'd certainly, do you know what I mean, quite possibly complete them if you could. Whereas nowadays, it's maybe not the case. So I was wondering, were you like that when you were a kid? Obviously, completed the games because you only had this a couple of seconds. I'm not going to edit that out because I can't bother. You only maybe had a couple of games, so you got really stuck into them. And maybe it was a case of you had more spare time when you were a kid. You'd come home from school, boom, play it till bedtime, play at the weekends, whatever. Whereas nowadays, a lot of us, obviously, we've got full-time jobs, we've got wives, we've got partners, we've got children, we've got other hobbies and whatnot. So there's maybe not the time in our lives to sit down and properly complete a game. For me personally, it's something that I've started to try and start to do again, if that makes sense, ever so slightly. But that's maybe why you'll see what you've got playthroughs on my channel now. A couple have popped up recently, as opposed to just a quick look at this game, a quick look at that game. I done South Park: Stick of Truth, Donkey Kong Country, and prior to that was Star Fox something or other on the GameCube. I can't remember what it was, but I'm not going to look up there and have a look. So it's something I was doing because I thought, right, I'm going to sit down and complete these games. And I suppose as well, it's a thing that you have to, it's like a sort of an effort or a commitment you have to actually make to complete the games. I found you have to put the time aside to complete it. Specifically, so if I'm creating the video or the content for YouTube, I'll do a couple bits, and I know I have to sit down and complete the rest. It's not, don't get me wrong, it's not a chore, but it's given me, creating the videos for YouTube has given me a good chance to actually sit down and complete a game, which otherwise I maybe wouldn't put the effort into completing. So that's why you'll maybe see some playthroughs or whatever on my channel. Not because I think anybody out there necessarily wants to watch me playing through a complete game. You never know. You might pick up a video or two of them and like what you see, but sit down and watch me play a game, probably not. It's more an excuse for me to play the game all the way through, and if that means if recording it for YouTube means that I will play it all the way through, then all the better for me because I get to enjoy the game that I maybe otherwise wouldn't have. because I probably wouldn't have put the effort or time into it. So that went off on a little bollocks ramble, didn't it? But are you a completionist? Do you still set time aside to play a game from start to finish? Or you maybe play it for a few hours and then lose interest? Do you find it's quite hard to actually dedicate the time to do it due to external factors such as kids, work, life in general? Do you find it's quite a challenge or quite a chore to put the time in to complete a game? You could argue the point, if you enjoy the game enough, you'd bloody play it from start to finish and complete it. But sometimes it's not as simple as that. External factors, life, wife, children, partners, hobbies, whatever. So are you still a completionist? You can't say you're going to complete every single game in your collection, but me personally, I'm probably going to try to be more of a completionist, rather than just stick a game in. Oh, it's good. Stick another game in. Oh, that's good. Stick another game in. Oh, that's good. And never properly experience or properly enjoy the game. So that's something I'm going to personally try and start doing more of, getting stuck into some games and properly completing them rather than just sticking them in for a few minutes. So guys, do you still complete games? Do you just chuck them in for a few minutes? Were you like me as a kid? Did you only get a couple of games maybe sporadically throughout the year, so you had to stick the time into it? Or is it a case of you've not got time to do that, or you've just not got, I don't know, the interest to maybe play them like that? You quite happily only want to pick up and play games due to external time constraints, issues, life, like I said. Really curious to hear your thoughts on it, guys. But for me personally, like I said, I'm going to start to try and complete some of these games, specifically ones that I know are iconic classics that I've never properly played before or anything like that. For example, I've just started playing Skyrim. I know how long has it been out. I've played it randomly on and off, but I've never properly played it, so I've just started playing it properly on the PC. But curious to hear your thoughts on it, guys. But as always, guys, thank you much for watching. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you next time.
Do you have a monkey in your pants?